Good morning and welcome to the annual meeting of the London Assembly for the 2020-21 year. My name's Ed Williams. I'm the Director of the London Assembly Secretariat. I'm opening the meeting and I just wanted to confirm before I hand over to Jeanette Arnold, the Assembly member who's been Chair of the London Assembly for the last year, to confirm that the Assembly meeting is quorate, although being held virtually. Can I call Assembly Member Arnold to speak?
Thank you, Ed. Welcome to the first virtual Assembly AGM. It's been an immense honour to have been Chair of the London Assembly and to have held the office on 5 separate occasions since the establishment of the Assembly 2 decades ago. During that time, our city has celebrated some of its proudest moments and experienced some of its darkest hours. I am deeply humbled to have been able to play a part throughout this story. As you know, along with a number of other colleagues, I had planned to be starting a new chapter in my life from this month, and along came COVID-19. So no grand farewell, not just yet. I had organised a lovely lunch celebrating our 20th year of serving Londoners. Unfortunately, it had to be cancelled, but I do hope we will be able to rearrange that before the end of our term in 2021. I want to thank the Assembly Secretariat and my own office team, with whom I have worked over the past 2 decades. And I want to mention them. Let me thank Tamzin, Zainab, Ed, Rebecca, Fiona B, Fiona O, Davina, Lamada, Dom and the comms team, especially Aoife, Dan, Lisa and Fenella. They have all worked wonders for us with their innovative videos over the last 2 years. It is not always an easy task keeping us Assembly members happy, and I pay tribute to the committed staff that have worked so effectively for London over the years. I also pay tribute to the outstanding Assembly members I have had the pleasure of working with. We may not have always seen eye to eye, but I count myself extremely lucky to have worked with such formidable and committed colleagues who have always kept me on my toes. And let me not forget my partner in crime and Deputy Chairman, Assembly Member Tony Arbour. What can I say? They say opposites attract, and I can certainly say that has been the case for our unlikely double act. In a rare bit of housekeeping, I found one of my original selection leaflets, and it's interesting that in the committees during the next year, I will continue with the important issues that I identified then that brought me here 20 years ago. But also during the next 12 months, I will be getting accustomed to a new status. As a result of the former Mayor of London and current Prime Minister Boris Johnson's COVID strategy, I am now shielded. Over the years, colleagues have suggested a number of words to describe the relationship between Mr. Johnson and myself. Being shielded was never one of them, so I look forward to a new period in our relationship. Finally, I see from the order paper that my colleague and good friend, Assembly Member Shaw, is unopposed for the role as the next chair of the Assembly. I know he will be an outstanding ambassador for London and all Londoners, and I look forward to supporting him in that role over the coming months. I want to say thank you to all of you, and thanks especially to, I know it's Rebecca and team, and these flowers have just arrived. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to our next 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member Arnold, and on behalf of the staff of the Secretariat, I deeply appreciate your comments about all the teams, and we wish you well for the year ahead. And now turn to the election for the office of...
You don't. I'm going to say a few words about Jeanette.
Apologies, Deputy Chairman.
I want I want to thank Jeanette for her friendship over the past few years. As she rightly said, opposites have indeed attracted, and I think that she's run a very good ship. A feature, of course, of the chairmanship is that it is supposed to be objective, it is supposed to protect both the members and indeed the mayor. And I think that Jeanette has held the ring. I have to say that this sort of meeting is very unsatisfactory. It's not cut and thrust, it's not flesh and blood, it's not the kind of politics that any of us would have wanted. And I suspect that in the future, people are going to say of the Assembly, it was the period either before Jeanette or after Jeanette. Before Jeanette, the thing worked very well. We did in fact have proper debate. This is the future, which is going to be after Jeanette, is going to show really, I fear, a bloodless sort of Assembly, unless, of course, we can actually look each other in the eye and see how things are done. However, the important thing about the next year is that the business has to be done, London has to work properly, the buses have to run, the police have to exercise their duties, and we need to see that our city isn't brought to its knees. I want to thank Jeanette, I want to thank all members of the Assembly. I look forward to working with Navin. I'm particularly pleased that Interflora has worked and that Jeanette did actually receive her flowers on time. I'm certainly looking forward to this most unexpected next year, which I have to say I'm going to see as a bonus, and I shall be looking forward to representing the people of South West London and London as a whole. Thank you all. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Assembly Member Arbour. And I will now turn to the election of for the office of the Chair of London Assembly for the forthcoming year. In a moment, I will call for nominations. In the event of one candidate being nominated, and if it becomes clear that there are no other nominations, I will declare the nominated candidate as being Chair of the London Assembly. In the event of two or more candidates being nominated, I will pause the process and explain the rules in more detail. Once the Chair is elected, they will conduct the election for the office of Deputy Chair of the London Assembly for the forthcoming year. Can I now have nominations for the office of Chair of the London Assembly for the period until the next annual meeting of the Assembly?
Mr. Williams, I would like to nominate Nevin Shah for the position of Chair of the Assembly. Nevin is another Labour member of the Assembly and has been representing Brenton Harrow since 2008. I know Nevin well and that he will be a fair chairman and will continue to ensure that London Assembly works in the best interest of all Londoners. And this year is going to be a difficult year, but it's going to be a difficult year for all Londoners and for the Assembly. But I think Nevin has the qualities and the foresight to make sure that he represents London as well. I have known Nevin personally since 2012, and when I first got elected to the London Assembly myself, and he has been a champion for the causes which have really been influencing his constituency. He has reminded us repeatedly that there is an outer London, a London outside Zone 1. He has championed mandatory sprinklers in all the residential buildings and retrofitting of existing buildings. He's lobbied for family-centred dwellings and enhancement of green and metropolitan land. He's also persistently championed the access to our stations, and he's been fighting very hard for freedom of step-free access. But he's all done this with reasoning, consideration, and respect for others. And Nevin has the ability to distinguish between the wood and the tree, the ability to listen to both sides of the argument, and the wisdom to make the right decision. These are exactly the qualities needed for the Chair of the London Assembly. Nevin will show calm leadership and work with members and the Mayor of London to provide Londoners with the answers and the reassurance that they seek during these worrying years. And I know that Nevin will work very well with Tony, but the current deputy chair, and hopefully re-elected later on this morning, looking at the standing papers. And therefore I commend to the Assembly Nevin Shah for chairman of the London Assembly in the next coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member Dr. Sahota. May I have a seconder for that nomination, please?
Yes, Ed. I would like to second. In fact, I'm very happy to second Navin Shah. I've known Navin for at least 25 years. We're both Harrovians, and he is an excellent choice to be our next chairman. So I second his proposed.
Thank you, Assembly Member Hall. Would any other group leader wish to make a speech at this stage? Are there any other nominations? Thank you, members. In the absence of any further nominations, I have the pleasure of formally declaring Assembly Member Navin Shah as Chair of the London Assembly for the period up until the next annual meeting of the Assembly. Congratulations, Assembly Member Shah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Mr. Williams, for conducting the proceedings so far. As you know, my grand plan was also that on 8th of May, last Friday, after the general elections, I would officially step down as London Assembly member. But here I am, Chair of the London Assembly today. But then life is a journey of twists and turns. This certainly is a very pleasant turning, in this instance, in a world that is otherwise dominated, as we all know, by COVID-19. Today, you have placed your trust and bestowed a huge privilege on me and my constituency. First and foremost, I want to thank my colleagues in the Labour group, and equally now all of you today as members of the Assembly for your unanimous support and confidence in me. It's very humbling, and thank you for that. On behalf of all of you, I also want to express my sincere thanks to Assembly Member Janet Arnold, OBE, the outgoing Assembly Chair, for her skills and wisdom in conducting Assembly meetings for 6 years is a record. Janet has been a great ambassador of the GLA, and her stewardship has been fair and outstanding. It will be indeed a hard act to follow, but I will give my everything to this role and promise to work hard. Janet, thank you for your kind words before as well. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Assembly Member Tony Arbour, who's been an excellent Deputy Chair of the Assembly, both in supporting Assembly Member Arnold and bringing his own personal style, as you all know, to the Assembly meetings. I look forward to working with him over the next year and look forward to his valued support. 20 years ago, on 12th of May, only a few days, at the very first meeting of London Assembly, its chair, Trevor Phillips, said, "Hope the forum will not become a sterile debating chamber." And Darren Johnson, as you all know, a former Assembly colleague, he commented then, "We need to move away from Westminster model of politics." 20 years on, I'm truly proud of the history and record of this Assembly, where we work constructively and in the spirit of healthy debate to reach consensus where we can. The Assembly is the strongest when we speak with a single voice, as evident in our committee reports, plenary sessions, and the motions that we debate. We hold the Mayor to account at Mayor's Question Time, where different views are expressed, but always, I believe, with a common purpose of making the lives of Londoners better and ensuring that London remains the greatest city in the world. Being politicians, It is inevitable that the party politics do surface from time to time, and I will expect it to be done with respect and in form of healthy debate. As most of you know, I am flexible, I'm accommodating and patient, but the patience is not unlimited. I have no doubt I will intervene decisively, stop anything that does show the Assembly in good light. In the interest of Londoners, I'll be seeking to work constructively with the Mayor of London, but I assure you that I will not be reticent in defending the corner of the London Assembly and Londoners. On a personal level, since arriving in London from Mumbai in 1973, the journey has been exciting and very diverse, which I would divide into 3 segments for convenience, but they all interrelate to each other. Firstly, professional work. I have been practicing as an architect and done some projects right across the world, obviously here in the UK, Nigeria, the Middle East, Pakistan, and so on. Voluntary sector has been close to my heart with involvement in fighting racism and inequality. Elected service has taken over my nearly 30 years so far, and that has meant 20 years as a councillor, including 2 years as leader of Harrow Council, delivering community cohesion and protecting quality of life of our residents faced with cuts from successive governments. And since the last 12 years, I have the privilege to be Assembly member for Brent and Harrow, playing my part in the strategic development of London and serving my constituents as well. Being elected chair of the London Assembly today is culmination of my public service, and I thank the London Assembly for that. As a British Indian and a proud Londoner, I'm very, very proud of London's record as the world's greatest multicultural capital, benefiting from its rich diversity of cultures and faiths derived from people from all parts of the world who have made London their home. In this context, let me mention a 4-year-old girl whose name is Amari Rose Sharda Shah Levy, whose mother is of British Indian origin from Jain faith, and her father is English from Jewish and Roman Catholic faiths. To me, this is a true reflection of the beauty and strength of contemporary London. Finally, with your cooperation, I look forward to serving as chair of the London Assembly and commit myself to work diligently with all of you to improve London and the lives of Londoners. We live in the greatest city in the world, and together we shape this city in post-pandemic period, a great and prominent future for all who make London their home. Thank you very much. Right. If you can move on to the next proceeding, and that is nomination for Office of Deputy Chair of the London Assembly for year 2020-21. Can I have nominations for Deputy Chair of the Assembly, please?
Chairman, I would like to nominate Tony Arbour. As you quite correctly said in your previous speech, he has been an excellent deputy chair. I consider he will continue to be one, and he will bring to it his own particular style, which we all love. So I nominate Tony Arbour.
Thank you.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yes, Chair. I would like to second the nomination of Assembly Member Tony Arbour for Deputy Chair of the Assembly. Having seen at the GLA since the conception, having been at the GLA since the conception, and at the GLC before that, not many people have an understanding of London government more or like Tony Arbour. I know that Tony will work well. He has been a very excellent deputy chair and chair, I think one time of the year, but he has the qualities to support you and qualities to work with you and to work on behalf of Londoners. So I would like to nominate him as deputy chair of the London Assembly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sahota. Is there any other nomination? No. In that event, I'm pleased to declare that Assembly Member Tony Arbour is elected as Deputy Chair of the London Assembly for the period until the next annual meeting of the Assembly. Congratulations, Assembly Member Arbour. Right, if you can move on to now the rest of the proceedings for the AGM. The next item is apologies and announcements. First, moving on to announcement, can I welcome members, officers and the public watching on the webcast to today's annual general meeting of the London Assembly. In particular, can I welcome our two new Assembly members, Assembly Member Qureshi and Assembly Member Moore, who succeeded Assembly Members Copley and Twycross, as we will come to under item under the agenda number 5. In accordance with government regulations, they are holding the meeting on virtual basis with Assembly members participating remotely. Can I ask the clerk, Rebecca Arnold, to confirm the names of the Assembly members who are virtually present at this meeting, and apologies for absence, if any.
Chair, we have present Assembly Member Arnold, Assembly Member Bacon, Assembly Member Bailey, Assembly Member Berry, Assembly Member Boff, Assembly Member Cooper, Assembly Member Desai, Assembly Member Devenish, Assembly Member Dismore, Assembly Member Duval, Assembly Member Eshalomi, Assembly Member Gavron, Assembly Member Hall, Assembly Member Curtin, Assembly Member McCartney, Assembly Member Moore, Assembly Member Pigeon, Assembly Member Prince, Assembly Member Qureshi, Assembly Member Russell, Assembly Member Dr. Sahota, Assembly Member Whittle, Assembly Member Arbour, Deputy Chairman, and yourself, Assembly Member Shah, as Chair. We have one apology, Chair, which is from Assembly Member O'Connell.
Thank you very much for that. If I can move on to declarations of interest, can I ask the Assembly to note the interest set out in item 3? And do Assembly members have any other disclosable pecuniary interests which relate to the items on the agenda for today's meeting, or any other relevant interests, including any declarations in relations to gifts, hospitality, which are not reflected on authorities' registers of gifts and hospitality? Are there any, colleagues? Nope. Okay. If we can swiftly move on to item number 4, which is minutes. Can I ask the Assembly to approve the minutes of London Assembly meetings held on 5th of March 2020, which was a plenary session, and 19th of March 2020, which was Mayor's question time, to be signed by me as correct records. Can you agree to that?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item number 5 is changes to the membership of the London Assembly, which you will find on pages 21 to 24. Can I ask the Assembly, A, to note the correspondence from the Mayor attached as Appendix 1 regarding the appointment of Dr. Fiona Twycross as Deputy Mayor for Fire and Resilience on a full-time basis, and B, note the resignation of Tom Copley, AM, and Fiona Twycross, AM, as Assembly members in the appointment, as we talked about before, of Murad Qureshi, Assembly Member, and Alison Moore, Assembly Member, as Assembly members, together with their subsequent notification that they have joined the London Assembly's Labour Group. Right.
Noted.
Is that all agreed?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Thank you. Now, we move on to item number 6, 7, and 8 together. Establishment of Assembly committees and bodies for 2020-21, appointment of members to committees, and election of committee chairs and deputy chairs. Assembly members have been sent an urgent paper setting out the proposed committee structure for 2020-21, terms of reference, memberships and chairs and deputy chairs, and that document has also been published on the GLA website. I propose, as I said, dealing with agenda items 6, 7, and 8 together. On that basis, can I ask the Assembly, A, to unanimously agree in accordance with the provisions of Section 17 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 to disapply the proportionality rules where committee membership is not politically proportional in respect of the overall membership of the Assembly. B, can I ask the Assembly to establish the bodies set out in the tabled Appendix 1 as ordinary committees for 2020-21 Assembly year with the size, constitution, terms of reference, membership, substitute members, chairs and deputy chairs as all set out in that particular appendix.
Agreed.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Some more to come, I'm afraid.
Agreed.
Item number C, point number C, can I ask the Assembly to establish the bodies set out in the tabled Appendix 2 as working groups of the GLA Oversight Committee for 2021 Assembly year with the size, constitution, terms of reference, membership, chair and deputy chairs as all set out in the appendix. Can we agree to that?
Agreed.
Item D, can I ask the Assembly to agree special quorum of 3 members for all Assembly committees of more than 5 members for the duration of 2021 Assembly year only, with a requirement that members from more than one party group must be included within the quorum to ensure a minimum cross-party representation. Can we agree to that? Thank you. Can I ask the Assembly to reconfirm the existing standing delegation of the Chair of the Assembly in respect of powers conferred by Schedule 4A of the Greater London Authority Act 1999 as amended to decide to hold a confirmation hearing and to decide whether to request the candidate to produce any documents? And can I ask the Assembly to reconfirm the previous decisions, the then Business Management and Appointments Committee in respect of committee meetings and work programs as set out at paragraphs 4.54 and 4.55 of the report at the agenda item 6. Can we agree to that?
Agreed.
Right. And we have dates of Assembly Committee meetings 2021. This report was marked to follow, which you have received. So the report in relation to agenda item 9 has been accepted as an urgent item of business at this meeting in accordance with section 100B4 of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended, as detailed in tabled report. Can I ask the Assembly to agree the timetable of London Assembly and committee meetings for the period May to August 2020 as set out in Appendix 1 in the table paper for this item, noting that a proposed timetable for the next tranche of the meetings in 2021 Assembly year will be submitted to the Assembly for formal approval in due course. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Right, moving on to item number 12, which is GLA corporate governance documents. Can I ask Assembly to agree the proposal's revised scheme of delegation of functions of the London Assembly as set out in Appendix 1, note the mayoral scheme of delegation as set out at Appendix 2, and confirm the standing delegation of authority to the Executive Director of Secretariat to make minor and consequential changes arising from relevant decisions of the London Assembly and or its committees to the scheme of delegation functions of the London Assembly and the Assembly's decision-making framework. Can we agree to that?
Agreed.
Right. Item number 11, date of next meeting. The next meeting scheduled of the London Assembly will be the Mayor's Question Time meeting, which will take place as virtual meeting at 10 a.m. on Thursday, 21, 2020, and will be webcast live. And last item, I'm pleased to say, any other business the chair considers urgent. There is no urgent business for consideration. Members, once again, can I thank you for cooperation? Let this be a good tradition to follow so that we have positive discussions and do our job for the Londoners for which we are appointed. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. I'm pleased to declare this meeting closed.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Very,
Well
very
done.
Roger.